And here I am in the Milan airport, and I'm so excited because I'm renting a car to explore actually the mountains and the lakes area around Milan. Absolutely stunning. I'm sure you know Como Lake, don't you? And now in this video you will discover everything you need to know about renting a car in Milan, all of the tips and the little gems that you should know before actually booking your car. First thing that you should know is that Milan has 3 airports. There is Malpensa, which is probably the biggest airport in the area, and that's where you want to go if you want to see, for example, Como Lake, Lago Maggiore, and all of the mountains area. Then there is Oriol Serio, close to Bergamo, and that's where you want to go if you are planning of some trekking into the mountains. And then there is Linate, which is the closest point to the city. It's probably not a great solution if you plan to rent a car to see the area around the city. If you make it to Malpensa, just keep in mind there are 2 terminals and they are on the opposite side of the airport, which is a little bit annoying, but that's the way it is. There is, however, a shuttle service, very frequent, that is going to take you from one terminal to the other in about 5 to 7 minutes. If you want to rent the car in terminal, just keep in mind that you check which terminal is actually the rental company. Otherwise, you have to take the shuttle and go to the other terminal to pick up the car. In Terminal 1, which is the biggest, the car rental companies are actually on level -1, very easy to access. However, on Terminal 2, the car rental companies are outside. You need to walk around 300 meters, so it's not going to save much time if you want to rent the car inside the terminal. My only suggestion here is just to get the best deal that is around. Doesn't matter if it's in terminal or outside the terminal, because even the shuttle service that's going to take to the rental company outside takes about 5 minutes. To pick up your car, you will need a valid European driving license or any other driving license together with an IDP, which is the International Driving Permit. Just be aware that some rental companies may give you the car even if you don't have an IDP, but then you're going to have issues with insurance in case you need it, or with the police if they stop you. So remember to do the IDP back at home if you need it. It just costs around $20 US, so it's not really a big deal. I usually rent my car from an aggregator, which is a website that compares the best prices from local and international companies, giving the best deal, which is great. Another thing I love with this website is that it works somehow similarly to Airbnb, and they rank all of the rental companies based on the customer feedbacks. So you know more or less if you go into a fishy deal with a fishy rental company. Besides that, they also offer full insurance for just 8 to 10 euros a day, which is fantastic because it's so easy to dent or scratch a car in these tiny and narrow streets of Italy. So it's such a great peace of mind when you give your car back to the rental company. Traffic usually is alright unless you're in the big towns like I am now and in Milan. What you should avoid absolutely is the commuting time, which is between 7:30 and 9 AM and between 5 and 7 PM. Especially if you're driving around Milan, where there is the ring highway all around the city, which is absolutely crazy. But once you go into the lakes area and the mountain area, then there is not much traffic over there. Of course, you will experience some traffic on Sundays when the people from the city are gonna go to the lake for a day out. Whenever I rent a car in Milan, I try to make a stop at the Armani outlet, which is about 30 minutes from the airport, direction Como, so perfect location. And usually you get discount prices for 20-30%. Here is a great tip: if you come over end of July or beginning of January, you get even better discounts, sometimes up to 70 or 80%. So if you are into fashionable clothes and things, then plan a stop in Armani outlet. I'm gonna put the address into the video description. Milan, as most of the towns around the city, and also I must say most of Italy, have a historical center which you can't visit by car. Usually it's delimited by a ZTL, a Zona Traffico Limitato, which is a zone limited only to the locals. So the only way to visit this historical center is to leave the car outside and walk in, or take public transportation inside. It's so easy. Speed limits in and around Milan is 50 km per hour. There are a few areas actually of Milan where the speed limit is 30 km per hour. Once you're outside of Milan, most of the other towns are 50 km per hour, and then if you go on the highway is 130 km per hour, and secondary roads is 90 km per hour. Important tip here is to never drive over the limit, because there are plenty of checks by the police, or there are boxes like this one that you see on my back where they check your speed, in this case 50 km per hour, and we're gonna send the fine to the rental company, which is gonna charge you also the admin cost on top of the fee. So plenty of money for maybe just 5k or 10k more than the speed limit. Parking is color coded, which means if you park between blue lines, you have to pay for an hourly fee. If you park between white lines, it's free of charge. And don't park on orange lines, because these are areas delimited only for loading, unloading close to the shops, and also for cars with people in need. Parking in Milan and any major cities around is a bit of a nightmare, so my suggestion is always to leave a car on the border of the city and take public transportation inside. Milan is great for that because it has a fantastic metro system. So you can park the car outside of Milan, take the metro, and boom, you are inside the city. Fantastic if you are in for a day trip. An important thing to know, even if you park actually between white lines, you can see a sign like this one here on my back. That means that you can park maximum 1 hour free of charge. Now, when you rent a car, usually you are given what is called a disco orario. It is similar to a clock, and that's where you have to put your time of arrival. So you are covered for 1 hour parking for free. You won't have any trouble finding a petrol station in Milan, outside of Milan, in the mountain area. One of the best tips I can give you is to use Google Maps, because besides giving you the location of a petrol station, it's going to give you also the price at the petrol station, so you can really bargain between the best prices around. You may already know that in Italy there are two prices for the petrol. One is for servito, one is for self-service, which means if you do it yourself, you're going to save around 10% on the cost of the petrol. For example, in this petrol station here on my back, the cost of self-service is 1.95, but the cost of servito, so the person is going to come and put the petrol into your car, is €2.16, so it's about 10% difference. Petty crime is not that common, however it does happen. So my suggestion is to never leave any valuable in the car, and honestly, nothing at all in the car, not even an empty bag, because if you're gonna break into the car, then you have more of a damage actually in fixing your car beside the hassle. If you want to leave anything in the car, just put it on the back, into the boot, and make sure it's not gonna be visible actually from outside. So overall, it's actually a good idea to rent a car. Well, if you're planning to visit only the major destinations like Milano City, like Como City, like Stesa on the Lago Maggiore, or Bergamo City, another beautiful place to experience, then probably public transportation will do. Honestly, there is no much point to have a car to visit this destination. You will have actually more trouble looking for parking. But if you want to experience more of the north of Italy, you know, into the lakes area, into the mountains, if you plan to ski actually in the mountains, then a car will work so much better, because it's not just about the destination, but it's about all of the small towns and places where you will have the possibility to visit along the route. And with that, I'm gonna finish this video, but remember to subscribe to the channel, put a like on the video, and I see you next week.